Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Welcome to you live from Abuja. It's the third anniversary of this administration. We're taking a look at how the government has fared so far. The key one, are we better or not? We had Dr. Mohammed who was making a point before we went to break. So could you please conclude your thoughts?
Yes, I think there is an overall overarching consensus among economists that recessions are defined this way. That is, when you have a national economy contracting over a certain period, 3 quarters, then you say you are in recession. Now, when you have that kind of situation, the one thing you do is, of course, not run to the trenches, but sit down and think what were the reasons that really predetermine you finding yourself in a recession. And recessions themselves are defined by how deep, how long, and then what are the parameters available to government in terms of policy. I haven't seen evidence of this from 2015 to date. I'm not blaming the present government alone, even though they have a lot to answer for the way they handle the economy. And in fact, the way they were being economical with the truth on a number of aspects of the national recession itself. Now, having done that, I do not believe in the system we inherited from the British, whereby we have political policymakers, we have also technocrats, supporting staff, and specialists and professionals.
Which is better? Or what would you prefer?
No, I said that is the system we inherited. I'm not saying it, I'm not passing a value judgment. I'm just saying that that's what we inherited. You cannot run a government, win an election and pretend that nothing has happened, when in fact there has been a sea change. We have now been talking about a country like Italy, which just spent about 60 days having won an election, but there was no government. And before that, there was the German election. And everybody was saying, to hell, the biggest economy in Europe has had an election. People have made their own choices. Decisions have been given. Somehow the political class could not come and put together a government. These are very serious issues. Only in Nigeria can somebody tell us that it doesn't matter after all, it is the civil servants who do the job. That is utter rubbish. It doesn't happen that way, and no national modern economy can run that way. Even in Eastern Europe, where a culture of public management and economic management are slightly different, are saying that we need some permanent staff who has permanent tenure in the government, and we also need very serious people who are coming into government who will now give political direction to the management of the national economy. In Nigeria, no, it doesn't matter. We can sit and we don't pay anything. And the excuse was that we will save money. What money have they saved? I want to know the figures.
Timing is everything in economic management. And decision-making that is timely determines what all the other participants in economy will do. So if you lost time, you cannot in any way say it didn't matter. Number 2, if the bureaucracy is all you need in order to run an economy, then why have political change through election? You don't need that. You don't need that if the bureaucracy can do it for us. Number 3 is that the reason that it was important for there to be timely signaling is that we know that signaling is everything. If you signaled your policy direction to the markets would adjust their decision accordingly. The main point on this matter of economic management is that the government of President Buhari took us to the dark ages of foreign exchange policy regime. The exchange policy regime that we have become accustomed to is one that is very transparent at all ends, because it allows the market to do the adjustment. The president decided to do an exchange policy that took us to the era almost of what was that thing they used to call in those days? What was that famous name in the time that he governed?
Trial license, what do you call it? Import license.
Import license. This was a discretionary exchange policy. It was an exchange policy that was based on command and control. The market doesn't understand that. That always leads to multiple exchange rates, And with multiple exchange rates, what you do is that you send all kinds of pricing distortions in the economy. And what that did was the president sort of saying, I don't want to murder the Naira. He ended up murdering the Naira by becoming almost the CBN governor. And politically, you can't do that in monetary policy. If we would remember that part of what enabled previous adjustments was that sense that you had flexible exchange rate. If you allowed the market to work, the supply side would respond. What this government did was to manage the demand side issues with many administrative rules that therefore gave opportunity for the massive corruption that happened in this economy. The exchange policy entrenched corruption, and that is something that is not good for productivity.
And
Can I just say this? Can I say this?
on.
No, can I say this in response to all of this? That at the end of the day, what matters is the results you get from your economic policies. And let me tell you the results we have gotten. That in 2017, the World Bank said, look, we are one of the best 10 performing economies in the world. I mean, it's the World Bank that says so. One of the best 10 performing economies in the world. Now, the contract, let me finish. It contracted, you know, the Nigerian economy began to rebound in the second quarter of 2017. It contracted, yes, because of the recession, up to the first quarter of 2017, and it contracted to about 0.9% or thereabout.
0.6.
0.6 or so, 9%. Now, it began to rebound in the second quarter of 2017, and the World Bank said, look, we're excited about this. They were here the first week of May. This is fact check. I want everybody to listen to Google World Bank in Nigeria first week of May a few weeks ago. And they commended Nigeria for all the economic policy. So we want to rise beyond the local politics of all of this and say, what is the world saying about this? And they said, look, we are excited about the growth of Nigeria. And now, what is the growth? What is GDP? The GDP has risen to 1.9 about that now. Our GDP growth now. 1.9, and it has done so consecutively for 4 quarters.